No on A. Stop the rain. 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 No on A. Stop on A. Stop the rain. No on A. Stop the rain.
Let's deal with defending our retiree health care benefits. I'm Steve Zeltzer with United Public Workers for Action, and we're having this press conference and rally to let people know the true facts behind Proposition A. And our first speaker is going to be Brenda Bill. She's co-chair of the San Francisco COPE Committee, and she is here to discuss the issue and to raise it as a major concern for the public and working people in San Francisco. Welcome, Brenda Bill.
Hi, thank you everybody for coming. One thing I want to let everybody know about Proposition A, it is not what it says it is. It is appalling that they're calling it something to protect retirees when it does nothing but hurt retirees and hurt those of us like me. In 2 years I'll be retired, and I want to make sure my benefits are safe. I want to make sure the money's still there and that the funds haven't been raided.
Lots of luck.
So we're asking everyone to vote no on Proposition A. Proposition A is not going to end up being what the voters think they're voting on. It's very deceptive. They have built-in loopholes that allow them to change the rules. And while people may think they're voting for something that protects the pensions, retiree healthcare trust fund, what it really does, it opens the door for it to be raided quickly. And so we must stop it. We cannot politicize it and have it dependent upon politics, the mayor, the board of supervisors, who have done nothing but attack us. So why on earth would anybody believe that they would do anything with a proposition on the ballot to be on the city charter that would help employees, retired or still working? So we hope that you support us and vote no. We will be out all over the city. You'll see us. This is just our kickoff. But our plan is to defeat Proposition A. For people that think we're just kidding around and we're not serious, don't be fooled. The Green Party went no on A. The League of Pissed Off Voters on A. The Libertarian Party, even though I don't agree with them on a lot of things, is no on A. And so are many other groups as they become to know more information. So I just want to send the word out to everybody, talk to everybody you know, and make sure they vote no on Proposition A.
1021 is 17,000 members strong in San Francisco, and we have voted no on A. We are no on A because we're sick and tired of having a tax on retirees. We're sick and tired of hearing about how costly our benefits are and how they're going to bankrupt the city, when the reality is that those numbers are accounting numbers that talk about what we owe over 30 years, not what we owe today. And it is unconscionable for us to be talking about city workers and taking away retiree benefits when this city is one of the richest cities in the country, is one of the richest cities in the world. We have so much money. We have so much that we could do. We could provide, such a good style of living for everybody in the city if that's what we were focused on. But instead, we're letting tech and we're letting real estate just run wild in our city, and we need to take it back for the people. And that's why we're no on A.
Yes! The language of Prop A gives the Board of Supervisors and the Mayor the ability to change spending rules in terms of the Retiree Healthcare Trust Fund as they see fit. Please read the language. It does not protect the workers. It does not protect the fund. And then, in the exact legislation, and this is an amendment, is a clause that allows the city to call the unions in and negotiate contributions up, not down, up only, should this fund be spent down lower than they think is going to hamper their bond rating. This whole thing about trust fund security is only to get a bond rating from Moody's. And by the way, we have in San Francisco right now the highest bond rating this city has ever had, AA, double plus. So when they cry broke, they are liars, as has been this campaign in terms of getting endorsers. We fought in SEIU in the COPE committee over and over to get an endorsement, a no endorsement, and we would have gotten it. 2 months ago, had this process not been stalled by opponents. These opponents have been notoriously, I hate to use the word in bed, but it's true, with city management year after year after year, and are part of the reason our benefits got taken away, the workers' benefits year after year, with B, with C, and they tried to do it with D as well, and now A. This has been an attack on city workers since 2008, over and over. Not only that, in between that, they negotiate down the benefits. These people are being given, the workers are being, and the retirees at times are being given double whammies. This is a deceptive measure put on the ballot by Farrell, who has huge support from the Chamber of Commerce and all the downtown organizations. Take a look at his backers. Then they got the labor bureaucrats to push us through, and 2 retirees associations who are not allowed to participate in any kind of democratic process. Just a few people made the decisions for us, and in some cases they did so through unethical practices, and I have this documented on my computer. It's all about, I have a smoking gun, more than one, maybe 3 or 4. I went to the Ethics Commission, but they won't deal with organizations that are unethical, just the government. Okay, so I say that this is unethical, no matter how you look at it, because it's a spin on what's happening, it's a lie. Take a look at the actual language and you will see for yourself. Thanks. Please, public, take a look. Don't believe anybody. Read it for yourself. Farrell. Sylvie asked those questions of Farrell, and he really did not want to answer anything about his background, which is all Silicon Valley work and banker investment, that kind of thing. He didn't want to tell people that this is his first job in the public sector, and we're wondering why he's here. He also said that labor was behind us. Well, hey, labor is here. It's out here. We are labor. He also said retirees are behind it. Retirees are here. We are retirees. And the groups that got those endorsements did so undemocratically, and I can prove it. So I don't know about labor. I just think that was a matter of having the wrong people in those positions who have never been for labor. They should be run out of town on a rail right now.
I am the past president of the West Bay Retiree chapter. I am here because it's necessary to expose the tactics that Supervisor Farrell used by the mere fact of using the word retirees. There is a group of people that pretend to represent us, and they have been exposed to the media as the speakers of us and the representative of us. I, as an individual, a senior citizen, retiree, these people do not speak for me, or for the many of us retirees that have taken a very strong stand to challenge this legislation. It has been rough because they are, again, not those representatives of the so-called retiree community, but unfortunately within the labor movement. We have been held hostage when we proposed for this legislation to come to a vote. We were obstructed, we were talked about, we were disrespected, but we prevailed, and we won. We won the no endorsement on Proposition A. And we yet continue to be ignored. We asked for monies to be allocated so that we could also conduct an effective and worthwhile campaign against this proposition, and we're still fighting for this. We talk about what is going on in Washington, about how certain parties continue to hold us hostages. And I'm here to tell you that here in San Francisco is happening. So how can you criticize those individuals when it's happening here in San Francisco? It's happening in the labor movement, it's happening in the city and county of San Francisco, and it's happening within the Board of Supervisors.
That's right.
And this is why I'm here to tell the voters, don't be misguided. Don't misunderstand what this proposition is all about. It's very dangerous, not just to San Francisco, but to the many thousands retirees. Please vote no on A, read the legislation, and if you have any questions, we will be there to provide you with the answers. Thank you so much.
I work for the Department of Human Services, and I want to say that SEIU is the biggest local in the city, and it is voting no on A, because they know that it's a raid on the health care to city workers. It's a raid on city funds. It will not help the city in any way but to give the billionaires more money in their pockets. Vote no on A. No on A. Stop the fraud.
Here it's Sylvia Alvarez Lynch. Alvarez first. Now, I have to ask you, what would a corporate vulture capitalist like Farrell have in common with us, the workers? Nothing. He's not doing this out of the kindness of his heart. His trade, when I asked him last night, what is it that you do, Farrell, when you're not a supervisor? Well, Farrell said he was a lawyer, and I asked who he worked for, and he listed a lot of names. And what do you know? All of these law firms and his clients are people in the 1%. He's a corporate dog. He is actually defending the rich. That's how he makes his living. He doesn't have any interest in the 99%, which are the workers or the retirees. There's a reason for this legislation.
To screw us.
Not only to screw the worker and the retirees, it's to make the rich richer.
Yes.
To open the doors for raiding, so when they can't spend enough money, they're going to take it from the healthcare trust fund. There are so many loopholes purposely left open for the raid to begin. So don't be bamboozled for a smooth talker, lawyer, who represents and defends the 1%, because us, the 99%, will suffer. Thank you.
I have been working for a human services agency that caters to the public. It's a human being. For 12 years, I have been bullied. I have been discriminated against my race and my ADA accommodation, because I do have the medical condition, and I have almost been pushed out the door, but know what I did? I fought back. I fought back. I filed against the city, not to human resource, but I filed the claim against Department of Fair Labor Housing, because they are not part of the city that I work for, so they will be fair. And fairness is what we're looking for. Prop A, this Prop A is resemble of 2010 Prop B. What happened? They failed Prop B. In 2010, they came back with Prop D, and now they're coming back to attack us again on Prop A again. So the city is in a deficit, but why? What happened to the sale of the boatways? That was the deficit that cost the city.
Yes.
That was money out from the citizen could benefit of, but they use it to benefit the rich people's little hobby. With one boat waste, was it the smallest waste I heard?
Yes.
One boat waste. To me, that was not a waste. That was a little sail on the water in a hot summer day. So please vote no on A to protect the real working class. The money did not come out. The deficit did not come out for the city. The money was lost to benefit to the rich people's little habits. Thank you. 反對 A 提案。A 提案就係2010年B 提案嘅反映，反對 A 提案。Thank you.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I want to start by thanking 1021 for standing up for their members. It's really a fraud that A is being perpetrated on the people of San Francisco and on the labor movement. In this election, where we have like one-party candidates on one side of the ballot, on the initiatives and these propositions, we need to say no to this fraud on A, because
this A will protect the trust fund, but it actually does the opposite. It opens to the Board of Supervisors for raiding and siphoning and mischief and reduction, so that the workers will have to pay more in over the years. And that will we ever get to the full funding?
No.
This is a scam that we're very familiar with in the home care community. When Obama was able to send some money to the counties, 4.3 million came to San Francisco, and the mayor took 2/3 of that for the general fund deficit. It was intended for home care, and it went somewhere else this year. Eventually, it will be coming, but this is when we need it right now. And we're facing in the state, as home care workers, we're very familiar with this attack on workers, because we are facing an 8% cut in our hours that continues. 3.6 of that is a cut from Schwarzenegger that's renewed by the Democrats every year, and that could be renewed again. So we don't see this great ending of a recession and the big boom. And we are so proud of 1021 standing up for their lowest paid workers, because those are the workers that will be hit the hardest when they have to pay more into their health trust fund. And believe it, raids and siphons the funds so that workers will be hit with additional pay.
That's right.
With additional payment and charges. So this thing will never fill up. It's like a leaky bathtub. The voters passed a really decent stopper in 2008. It could always be better, but at least it doesn't leak like this stopper.
Yes, the Gray Panthers early on took a position of no on A. We were one of the first organizations to do so, because we could see through the lies and the so-called language that was put in the voter registration book that hides everything that Prop A does. Well, they might fool some people, but they won't fool us. And one of the problems is what's going on in this country all over is an attack on the pensions of all of workers. All across the country. And what they're doing is blaming the fall of the cities. The cities are in debt, and they're blaming it on us who have pensions. Well, let me tell you, that's another big lie. What happens is the trickle-down theory. Now, not the one they told us about, but the trickle-down of $3 trillion of war, of $1 billion tax break, and don't you know it trickles right down to the state, to the city, where we have to cut programs for all of us.
Yes.
Now, what about jobs? Well, we're also supporting the BART strikers, by the way. And also what's going on is this pitting worker against worker. And you've heard a lot of speakers talk about that. But here's one thing. You know, let's start saying, yeah, I made a good wage when I worked for the city. It wasn't good enough to buy a house in the city, but... and I paid into my pension plan. I paid 7.5% in my pension plan.
That's right.
That's my money.
Now 10.
Yes.
Now 10.
So, don't blame the trouble of the cities. You know, I mean, we see Detroit closing, cities here in California. Don't blame that on us. We know where it came from. And if there aren't jobs, then we all deserve a living wage. And that's what we should fight for. Because you know what? They're not making any jobs.
They're importing workers.
They're importing workers. They're outsourcing.
And no pension.
That's right. All right. Well, we'll be with you all the way.
Yes, they will.
Our next speaker is Frank Martin Del Campo. He's a longtime activist in the Latino community and head of LACLA in San Francisco, Labor Council for Latin American Advancement. Welcome, Frank Martin Del Campo.
Very proud to stand with very clear and very strong members who are clear on what Proposition A is. What is Proposition A?
It's a lie. That's raid on the health.
Raid on trust fund.
It's a raid.
Well, let me...
City government.
All those things are true, but I'd like to put the light, a little more light, on where this is coming from. Proposition A is the political program of the coup plotters in Washington. Currently, they're shutting down our government. Currently, they don't want government to work. This is the same program of the coup plotters who are currently trying to make sure government doesn't work for the people. It will fail, and it will fail for the following reasons. When it came before the San Francisco Labor Council, we were clear along with others. San Francisco LACLA was very clear along with others to lead the effort along with others to no on A. And the reason for that is this is nothing more and nothing less than the corporate agenda to make workers and to scapegoat public workers and to divide one worker from another so they can take everything away from all of us. I'd like to say, what is it we should do? We cannot just vote no at our labor councils. We must act as unionists. That's why we are here today. We must act to vote. What does the motor must do? The motors must vote no on A, B, and C. It's very simple. It's easy math. Vote no on A, B, and C. 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 Lastly, let me clear the record. I do not believe that this measure secured necessary support at the San Francisco Labor Council for no on A. No on A, no to pension cuts. And so we believe that what we must also do is to make sure that our unions represent us correctly and properly. If there was a shortcoming, right, on calculating the vote, let's correct it. If our council did not support A, let's correct it. Let's correct the record. We did not support A. Let's follow the lead of 1021. Vote no on A. Let's stay away from these endorsements. Labor has nothing to gain by standing with the coup plotters in Washington.
I just want to warn you about what's happening in this city is we're being taken over by the developers and corporations, and practically everything on that ballot besides A is all connected. The 8th Washington is connected to A, where we are encouraging development in this city that has taken away housing for people. The nonprofits have to move out of the city, can't afford to stay here anymore. And who's behind all this stuff? They claim, well, that unions are behind some of this measure and other measures, and so it must be good. They claim that the legislators, the board of supervisors behind this, so it must be good. And I have a leaflet here, and if you give me a second, I can tell you that they're all collaborating against us, including our supposed progressive supervisors, every single one of them. We're fighting 8 Washington, they were behind that. The Twitter, that's causing all the problems we're having right now. The board of supervisors behind that. The Golden Gate Park, where they want to put artificial turf. The board of supervisors behind that. The Central Subway, which is devastating our muni services, they're behind that. Park Merced, they're behind that. And now they want to get behind Warrior Stadium. The Warrior Stadium, they're running out of land, so they're putting the Warrior Stadium on the water, directly on the water, on piles. It's a massive complex, and it's going to ruin the whole waterfront, just as this 8 Washington is doing. It's all connected. It's all connected. So the Warrior Stadium is now the other thing that you can guarantee that the full board of supervisors will be behind that as well. They're not on our side. So they wave and say, well, this Measure A is backed by the board of supervisors, backed by the union, so it must be good. Not true. Not true. Look behind the surface.
Okay, nationwide there is a huge attack on workers' pensions. We have worked all our lives generating huge amounts, millions and billions of dollars of profits for the bosses, and because of the fight that we've put up in past years, we have gotten pensions. We've gotten retirement pensions, we've gotten retirement health plans. 40 years ago in the 1970s, when there was a huge fight back by workers, when there was anti-racist rebellions in the cities, when there was huge strike waves, when the soldiers were firing back against their own officers rather than fight for imperialism, at that time, the bosses decided there had to be a huge attack on workers. And part of that attack was attacking our pension systems, attacking our Social Security, our Medicare, our Medicaid programs. And this Proposition A, which acts as though it wants to protect our retiree health care, actually axes it in the back. Last night, Farrell was there, the supervisor sponsoring this, was there lying through his teeth saying that there was an escape clause in the protective aspects of Prop A. This so-called safety valve is really an escape clause that lets the bosses of San Francisco raid our retirement fund and use it for whatever purposes they want. They say cut back, we say fight back.
Stop the fraud! No on A! Stop the fraud!